Hello and good evening. You are back with the crew. Thank you so much for being back with us again tonight. I know how precious your time is, and I understand that you spend it with me, and I really appreciate that. And it's it's a lot of fun, and it's an honor to be able to sit down and just be with I don't know, a few hundred of us every night, every Thursday on this crazy wild Wednesday. We had to do it a night early. As many of you know, Elizabeth and I are on a road trip starting tomorrow. We'll be in Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. I'm missing one. Anyway, on the way back, we'll be in, we won't get down to New Orleans, but we will be in the lovely state. It looks like there's a little hurricane going through the Carolinas right now, so hopefully there's no excitement in that area when we're down in the Florida area, Carolinas. Yeah, I don't know. All of a sudden, the internet's sketchy on my channel here. Sorry, guys. Sorry if that's the case. Let's see. Let's see how many bars. Oh, no, I'm looking good here. For us. For us out here in the sticks, you know, we're doing pretty good. Let me see if that helps at all. So tonight, we have a million things to talk about. I had a guest lined up for tomorrow night. Many of you probably heard me talk about that. He's not going to be with us tonight. And because I bumped it up a night early, kind of it's his night to go out and do his thing. And as we like to talk about on this channel, friends and family first. So I made sure that he went to dinner with his lovely wife instead of being here with us tired folk on this channel here tonight. Okay, let's make sure that everybody, you understand that no matter what you're doing with crypto or finances or your financial freedom and your future or any of those things, remember to take time out for your family, to take time to pet your lovely dogs and animals and appreciate each other, for every day is what we have. Yes, I am passing through Louisiana, and yes, you should get a hold of me on the way back a little bit. Anyway, that'll be another probably week from, 10 days from now, something like that. We're going to be gone 10 days, 14 days. Crazy little event that we're on. A couple of public announcements. Gee, I don't know, some guy made some video yesterday, launched it this morning, last night, was talking about don't panic about the whole red market because it's probably not going to last very long. And then, I don't know, today went green, and green's a good color, so everybody's already panicking less than they were just the other day. It's going to be, let me talk more into depth as to what I perceive happening here, okay? If I can. Alan's crystal ball. Fun, right? Yeah, I'm the guy that does the show every year, all the stuff I got wrong. First week of the year, I talk about everything I got wrong. I get a lot wrong. I probably get more wrong than I get right. I have somewhere around 50-50. So I'm lucky to get, 50-50s. Actually, chance is what, 30%, 20, 25, 30%. So, even if you pick 1 out of 4, you're pretty much 30%. So I don't. My crystal ball goes something like this. We're going to be slow, sideways, choppy, not a lot of volume until somewhere around September 1st. I'm expecting the first week, maybe the second week of September to be rough. Not great, rough. Not sideways, down. That's what it's a projection. I'm like, this is what I perceive happening. So we're going to go sideways between now and then, maybe shorter, lower than higher. Then we're going to get into the second week of September when people really get back to work and they really get back into finances. And then they're going to get back into crypto. I don't see them really crushing. Oh, wow. I've been on the market for a few months. Oh, what do I come back to? Well, we're going to get back into stocks. No, that's probably not what they're going to do. Probably what they're going to do is they're going to get into a lot of the ETFs, a lot of the crypto products, which are out there now. More and more of these. These family offices are looking for return. They're looking for capital and they're looking for return. This market is tight, but the crypto market is expanding, as we all know. Let me talk about what I think happens in the middle of September. So somewhere along, I don't know, the second week, maybe third week of September, you start getting everybody's back to work, joint ventures, capital's back into the market. It's looking for a place to hang out, and capital wants to be there until somewhere around second week of December. I don't know if you noticed, right around before Christmas, somewhere right in then, 10th of December, people start pulling their money out. In particular, if they're in profit. If you're in profit from second week of September all the way to the second week of December, they're going to start withdrawing funds. That's a tax event for them if they carry it over into the following year. They're going to want to take those returns, and or if there's a big loss for them, they're going to want to write that loss off at the very end of that year. Okay, everyone wants to close out the books, but everyone likes to close out with a big trade. This is why this man is talking somewhere around second week of September to the second week of December is going to be your big play. That's going to be your best chance for the most rapid movement, because new president, everybody's been kind of conservative. What are they going to do? They're feeling it all out. The tariffs, what are we doing? What's happening with Europe? What's going on over there in Ukraine? And if we have peace agreements, all that could be really bullish in the next couple of weeks, maybe a month. That could really set September on fire. October, November could really take off. They're looking for big returns. They're looking for a stable economy for the next 2 or 3 years. That could really turn out to be a good play for them. It's just sort of lining up with the M2 money supply. Look at the weaker dollar. We're looking at the interest rates going to be dropping sometime in September, I'm guessing, definitely in December as well. You're looking at all of that sort of lines up like the planets are lining up right now. It's all perfect for them. This is all risk off, is what we like to call that. Those are risk on trades, but they're risk off as far as Wall Street. It's like, hey, man, I did everything. I did all my due diligence. I nailed all this trade. It's not really on me if it goes against us, okay? Everything we did made sense back in the middle of September. If the trade didn't go our way, I'd be shocked because everybody's going to see the tea leaves the same way, roughly, okay? They really need returns because they spent a whole lot of money over the summer on vacations and playing around doing the rest of it. Again, my speculation. However, I've been following these markets since, I don't even want to give that number away. It's been that long ago. Really? Wow. Think about that. How many years that is? That's 40 years I've been looking at this market. Since I was 25. Really, pretty much solid since I was 25. And there's a pattern to all of that. So 40 years I've been looking at that kind of thing. And I'm not saying it plays out every year, but I'm going to say in a general situation, generalizing and just saying, okay, well, this is what Alan sees, and those are the reasons. Those are a few of the reasons why I see that. I also see these ETFs coming into numerous other coins, in particular our favorite coin, XRP. I'm also seeing a lot of new products. I'm seeing family offices invest in crypto now. I'm also seeing, I cannot have this rooster. Hang on one second. Hey. Sorry about that. She was sitting on a ledge pointing right in the door here, and I just pushed her off. So I didn't swing at her. Yeah, ticker tape days, definitely. Okay. All of that to say this. It's all coming your way. We all know that. How do you not know that in crypto at this point? You have to see where it's all headed. It's very difficult for this man to picture a bear market for the rest of the year. I don't know what would have to happen. It would have to get real ugly in Ukraine and somewhere else. And why would the world doesn't want that? I really don't think the people of the world want that. I know there's some sick puppies out there that do, but we won't get into that. Tonight's show, I'm really excited about what I'm going to talk about here tonight, because this is something that's big picture. It's kind of what I've been talking about for many months. And then I want to talk about towards the end of it, at the end of the show, I really want to talk about your exit strategy, your life plan. Okay. Your life plan into the big picture, the macroeconomic world in which we're headed into, and how it plays in your life. And I'm not talking a decade out. I'm talking 2 years out, 1 to 2 years out. This is all occurring today. That's what this big show is about tonight. I can't wait to get into it. This is going to be a fun one. It's really based on what I think, even more so than what I think of Donald Trump, despite what you may or may not like about the man. I think it's more about the man who has got dissent. It's more about what they want to do with the Federal Reserve. It's more, I want you to really think about the big picture of money. And I use money in a general term. Okay. I know true money, real money, gold. I get that. I understand that. What I use the term very loosely tonight. Okay. Because you can't call it currency, because that's really would be not the definition of what I consider what they're doing with the future of all value of money. Okay. So I'm going to end the show and how this all applies to you and I, and how the strategy is best taken advantage of, because this is trust your exit plan. And when I said that, it offended a lot of people in the recent months, because they're like, well, what do you mean? You're talking about exiting crypto, Alan? How come? No, I'm never selling my crypto. I'm never selling my coins. I'm always going to make money the rest of my life on my coins. Yes, I love that. The exit could be out of the dollar, correct? Your exit is out of the dollar and into the crypto. You did exit, didn't you? Isn't that relevant? And trust is trust yourself. Trust that you're capable. Trust that you can listen to enough great channels, better channels than this, that teach you, understand what you know, how you know it, why you know it, who you can work with, who's going to help you with those things, who can help you. Those incredible girls that we had on last week, brilliant young minds who can sit down with you and say, listen, this is a game plan that is proven and structured, and we can help you with this plan. We can help you go through with it. Love that kind of stuff. I'm here to give you the big picture. I'm here to give you the next piece where the next shoe is about to drop. That's really the forte of my skills. I know what I'm good at. I stay in my wheelhouse. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. I'm here to tell you what I think's coming and how you could prosper from it. And yes, I am a man who has made a lot of money in different markets. And yes, I'm a man who's lost a lot of money in different markets. However, my skill set, more than almost any other person that I've ever met on this planet, just about, other than maybe another yacht captain, is I work with billionaires. That's what I do for a living. And as you've probably gathered, I'm not your typical geek nerd when it comes to knowing what money is or knowing how money works. I actually can talk the talk and I can walk the walk with these people. They look at me and say, well, you should really talk to my accountant. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about half the time, Alan. And these people are big time money players. Okay. So when you play that game, when you understand the game they're playing, then you can see where the ball's going a lot easier and a lot clearer. That's how I get you to see the world in which you live in, the way you're trying to battle in, and you're trying to create generational wealth. When the billionaires that I work with, that's all they care about is generational wealth. That's all they care about. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what you and I are striving to do. I listen to all these other great channels talk about generational wealth. What do they really know about it? It's a slogan to them. And I'm not putting them down for it. I'm just trying to tell you, there's some people that really, really live this and have done that for multiple generations. Those are the brains I get to pick. And I love it. It's the little nuances that you get. And then you put the pieces of the puzzle together. And then when you come together with those thoughts and they resonate and you're just like, oh my God, I got a brilliant idea. I think I just nailed a brilliant idea. And then you implement these ideas. And then the next thing you know, you end up in crypto with a big giant bag full of XRP, which all just makes perfect financial sense. Yeah. So that's what we're doing tonight. I hope you're having fun already. It's, what are we, 16 minutes into the show. I'm going to try and get this thing done in 1 hour, guys. I am. I know. I sit here and just babble all night. It's like beyond me. Before I get started, because it's going to take me the next 45 minutes to nail this show. Elizabeth and I are crossing the United States. We're hitting all the states that I already talked about. We're dropping puppies off in like 5 states. The puppies are incredible. My wife's incredible. My life is incredible. These dogs are just brilliant and I love them. And it's a privilege and it's an honor to be able to meet you all. Okay. I'm going to be able to meet you all at one time or another, but on this trip, I really got to get the dogs to the houses, and I'm trying to get to those people. And I'm going to be in states where I know we're going to be right down the street from each other. And I'd love to meet you if I can. And I'm going to try and talk about where I'm at as much as possible in my channel and my shows, where I'm going to be the next day. And I'm going to try and make shorter videos and post a bunch of them. So if you're interested, stay into my show. And if you're a Patreon member, to stay tight to the Patreon channel, because we'll have a little bit more in there. I'm just saying all that because it's going to be fun to be in these neighborhoods. I do have business to take care of. I do have 2 different business deals that I'm working on, one in Texas and one in Georgia. The rest are just delivering dogs and meeting people and kissing babies and shaking hands and meeting the most incredible people on the YouTube. And it happens to be you. That's without a doubt. We already know how cool you are. We already know how perfect you people are. All that to say this, I'm going to have a blast the next couple of weeks. Hope you guys come along for the ride. Now, all disclaimers aside. Oh, by the way, I have 2 or 3 puppies left too, by the way, in case you want them. If you don't want one, I get it. It's a big commitment. And this is a rowdy hunting dog. These dogs are made for property. So don't take one if you have an apartment. If you can't handle an active dog, please. It's not best for the dog, and it's not best for you, and it's just going to be, Anyway, not the best for either of you. Get on with the show already, would you? For God's sakes. God's sakes, eh? Yeah, I spent my time in Canada. Okay. And Elizabeth is a lovely Canadian woman as well. Tonight, I'm going to talk about big picture Scott Bessent, because Donald Trump triggers everybody. It's not Donald Trump's idea. It's a lot of people's idea. And there's a lot of financial players in this thing. And it's a big giant wheel. And I want to show that to you. And I only have 40 minutes to do it in. So let's get cracking. Number one, as many of you know, when I use the word Eurodollar, I mean Eurodollar in the sense that not that plastic paper Eurodollar they get when you're in France. Okay, that's not the Eurodollar I'm talking about. What I talk about it in the sense of a Eurodollar is, let's say France wants to buy some Chinese goods. Okay, so France says, okay, great, China, we want to buy a bunch of whatever, baguettes. And we need to buy them from China. I don't know why they would buy baguettes. We're not into that detail right now. Okay. So they do what they do is business, but everybody wants the dollar. So they say, well, we'll pay you in dollars, but we're France and we actually just have euros. What I want you to understand on a principle, basic boiled down level is this. They're using US dollars that were created that never existed prior. No different than credit card, no different than banking, no different than anybody else. They're creating US dollar when neither the Chinese yuan nor the French of the euro dollar, neither one has a dollar. But the deals and the basis of the trade is done in dollar terms, must be paid back in dollars. They create, these banks create the dollar in the value of the euro, but they do it in a dollar term and they pay them in what's equivalent to a US dollar. It's a poor explanation, but it's as simple as I can make it. It's not the paper euro dollar or plastic euro dollar that you get in Europe. It's one that's done on a banking level. Okay? All right. There's trillions of these out there, hundreds of billions minimally, okay, annually, trillions. Most all foreign economies use these non-US treasury dollars, right? Got it? We call them Eurodollars because Europe started playing with these back in the 90s and they made an entire industry out of it. It's gotten out of hand. It's made the US dollar the most inflated thing in the world because they're getting it not from the Fed. They're not getting it from treasuries. They're not getting it from a treasury bank. They're getting it out of thin air, and it's all a Ponzi. Just a Ponzi on top of a Ponzi. So what's happening is all those overseas dollars, all of that overseas money is unaccountable. It's unaccounted for. We know there's trillions of it out there, but we need to get it. Not we, Scott Bessent needs to get a handle on it. It's just like, well, how many XRP are there? Well, we have no idea. Actually, we do know because there's 100 billion of them. There's a 21 million Bitcoin. We know what that number is. We have no idea how many euro dollars are out there. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring it all back home. Okay, they're trying to bring it all back to the US and say, look, how many of you got Bank of France, Bank of Spain, Bank of whoever, Swiss banks, whatever you guys got on contract or what you guys use or have been using for decades now, since the 90s, and these fraudulent, technically they're not fraudulent whatsoever. They're permissionless. Put it that way. They haven't been given the U.S. Treasury blessing of what they are. Scott Bessent, essentially, or this administration is saying, look, we want to account for all of those. Bring them back to us. All of them. We know you created them. We know, we don't care. Bring them back here. Put them in an American bank overseas. Put them in an American bank. Put them in an American company. Put them in American owner or leadership. Okay? Remember this. Okay? They are doing this now. That's big. What is that going to do to inflation for US? Not good. there's all of a sudden trillions of dollars that are going to be flooding in. But what Scott's saying is if you don't do this, if you don't invest in an American company, if you don't put it in a US bank, even if the bank is overseas, that's okay, but you must put it in a US bank so that we can account for it all. It's called accountability, and we're coming to that. The reason why they're trying to be accountable is because this man's opinion, they haven't really completely come out and said all of this, but essentially they're going to say, okay, that's it. This is how many of these there really are. These are now US treasuries, and you will never make another US treasury without our permission outside of the US, outside of a US banking company, outside of a US bank, outside of our tentacles around the face of this planet. Sounds like a control freak angle? Sure. Okay, you can go with that. But the reason for doing that is they must get some accountability, because just like we know there's 100 billion XRP, you've got to know what your number is. The other beautiful thing is all that inflation is going to say, because look, if they wait too long, let's say you're a company and you've got 100 billion of these in Germany or even Russia or wherever, okay? This is what this man's opinion was going on over there in Alaska. You think they needed to talk about Ukraine again? You don't think that Russia's figured out what's going on in Ukraine? You think that Trump was telling them what to do for 5 straight hours about what to do with? No, I'm telling you, he's unlocking all those Russian assets that have been locked up through the previous administration. All the dollars are going to come rushing back into US banks. All of that is going to create massive amounts of liquidity in this system. It's called inflation. It's insanely inflationary. Okay, that's what's coming to us, right? It has to create some form of accountability. I know people disagree with me on a lot of these angles. That's okay. I'm wrong a lot, and I can accept it. However, a lot of people want to argue with me about this, and that's fine. You know, like I say, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but I've been following history for hundreds of years in books about economies. I don't care about love spats or wars. I'm not a war guy. I'm an economist. I learned what happened in the 1850s and why it happened and what happened to money and what they've done in 1913 and what happened in 1917 and why those wars really happened. And that's not what tonight's show is about. However, I am here to tell you I am a history buff when it comes to economics. This is why I love the great minds who follow this kind of thing. Von Mises is one of my idols. John Nash is absolutely this man's favorite human being on the face of the planet. And no, that movie did not depict the man in any kind of light. That was the worst movie. They didn't even talk about the 5 greatest things the man achieved in his lifetime. Let's just start there. They made him a Hollywood freak. And anyway, don't get me wound up about that movie. And I like, who was it? Russell Crowe, right? Was it Russell? Yeah, it was Russell Crowe. Anyway, I don't want to get into that right now. Now I'm all wound up about that. All of that to say this, those dollars are coming home. And you say, well, that's not good, Alan. That's going to really inflate things. But what do we know about the inflation right now? It's low. What do we know about unemployment? It's really low. What do we know about what we need to happen today? We need electricity. We need a ton of electricity. We need a bunch of jobs. We need factories. We need to get building again. And all of these are things that this current administration is ready to gear up for. They're already telling you if you build a company and you build the building and you start a company, that all the red tape for your company is gone. They've already come out and said that. Howard Lutnick has basically said, if you build a company, I will make sure that we stay out of your way. We will let you have free reign on true capitalism. We will stay out of your way. Just hire Americans, preferably native-born Americans. But that's another story. That is coming to the U.S. And you say, well, that's a bad thing, Alan. All that money come rushing in and they're going to be able. What did Trump say about 6 months ago? China, you can't buy farms, you can't buy companies, and you can't buy real estate in America. You still think he's like working with the Russians and the Chinese? Do you still think he's against Americans? Maybe you're right. Maybe he is. I don't know. But I don't know why he would do that if he wanted all this money to come back to America. That would mean the whole world could rush in and buy America on pennies on the dollar. But he's not allowing them to do that, is he? He's telling them they have to put the money in the bank, they have to put the money in a corporation, and it has to be American owned. Even if the corporation's overseas, it has to be American owned, and all that capital has to be in there, or otherwise they might just drop the gavel and say, okay, all those billions of dollars that you got stuck with outside of America, outside of our treasury, outside of our accounting, are worthless now. We're not accepting those. They're no longer relevant. No, we're going to give you an extra 60 days. Now you get 60 more days, just like he did with the tariffs, and he's going to say, okay, at the end of 60 days, you guys are done for. This is your last warning. Kind of like what they do with people that come into the country. It's like, okay, everybody's in now as a citizen. Okay, we're good. All right. This is what's coming. Again, my opinion. What does that mean? I just told you it means inflationary times. I just told you that's not good, except for what? It's going to build, it's going to create, there's going to be sloshing of money in this country, sloshing from side to side to side. And he wants to do crypto companies, and he wants to mine crypto. And he wants he wants America to be the crypto capital of the world. He wants us to build items. He wants us to create AI. He wants us to create robots. He wants America to thrive again. All of that capital coming in here. How did China, let me backtrack. How did Japan back in the 90s thrive? Capital came rushing into Japan. Everybody wanted a piece of it. Everybody saw the tech. Everybody saw they had the tech. And everybody built Sony TVs until they couldn't buy another Sony TV. Toyotas, all the rest of it. American-made cars, Teslas, American-made robots, American-made crypto, American-made finance. We have the financial institutions. We're creating a new exchange in Texas that is just for crypto. And they call the bill a genius. Bingo. Now you get where this man's head is at. Not me, Bassett. All of that liquidity and all of that money is going to rush into the new sound money, which is not gold, this man's opinion. It's not going to be gold, and it's not going to be U.S. dollars. It's going to be U.S. Treasury dollars. There's a difference. One comes from the Fed. One created just like Lincoln did, just like Andrew Jackson did, just like Kennedy was trying to do. Odd, all three of those men were shot. Probably just a coincidence that Trump got shot. I don't know. Just, do you believe in coincidence? I don't. Personally, I really don't. Anyway, let's look at what that means. All Euro people, I talked about this 3-4 weeks ago. When you're a person, a person from Europe, Canada, Japan, any country outside the US, and you have skills, and you're a leader in your technology, whether it be AI or otherwise, are you gonna, let's see, am I gonna go learn Mandarin, or am I gonna go to America and work with the Americans? I'm just guessing. At least 60% are probably going to want to go work in the most booming economic system being built, in particular after all of that money rushes back in, just like it did in Japan, just like it did in China. And now it's leaving China, and now it's looking for a new place. It's going into India to some degree, but it's looking for a new place. And Johnny on the spot, Mr. Businessman himself, Mr. Trump and Bessent, come into office at the perfect time. Thank God he wasn't in office 4 years ago, because that wouldn't be happening today. But look at where you stand economically. You have a businessman at the wheel when all the money comes back. What are you going to do with the money? You're going to create business. You're going to create opportunity. You're going to create opportunity for all the great people, economic might, to come to America. I talked about this I did a show on Rumble with Clinton, and he and I talked about this. Clinton Donnelly, brilliant tax mind. And he and I talked about this. And this is, just hear me out for 1 minute, because it bears repeat. When you come here and you're not an American, you don't get taxed. You don't pay taxes working here. Did you know that? Did you know that 99% of all the countries, when you go abroad, you don't get taxed from your homeland country? U.S. does that to American citizens. If I live overseas, I have to pay American taxes. 99% of the countries, I think there's only 1 or 2 other countries in the world that you have to pay tax, even no matter where you work, U.S. being one of them. But however, the greatest and most brilliant people of the world are going to come to where it's booming. They're going to come to where the liquidity is. They're going to come to where all that inflation. What's the matter with inflation? You and I complain about inflation every single day. We do, right? Inflation is not a problem. Inflation's only a problem when they're creating it. I'm going to say that again. When you have a pizza and you make more pizza, that's inflation. When you have a pizza and you charge more for the pizza, like tariffs do, that's not inflation. I'm sorry to explain that to all the economists who get that wrong every single day. Inflation is only when you create more money when you didn't have that much money. Well, we always had all that much money, and now all that money is going to come back in the form of capital into this country, and we're going to put it to work. It's going to be the source of operation, because industry in the United States today operates in an old school platform of, well, gee, I'd like to hire more people. I'd like to create a building, except for it's so expensive. There's so much red tape. And I just told you what they did with Howard Lutnick, head of the Commerce, who runs the business of America. Red tape gone. Loans will be dirt cheap. You've got to put that capital somewhere. So what are all these countries going to do? They're going to flood that capital back into the United States, and they're going to try and get something for it. And they're going to have to compete. And the competition is going to be inflationary in the sense that they're going to be bidding for the best place to put that capital. And the best place to put it is going to be into corporations, building of corporations, building of structure, building, believe it or not, new roads, building new dams, building highways, building airports. The entire infrastructure of the United States will be 10 times what it is today within 5 years. And I don't hear anybody talking about it. That's what's coming. When you bring all that capital back, it's only inflationary when you hand it to the people and the people go and buy too many eggs and everybody's fighting for the same eggs. It's too much dollars for the same eggs. Is it inflationary when everybody gets paid? Yeah, it is, because everybody has more and more money, but people are going to buy things of value. They're going to buy corporations, companies, businesses, employees, robots, tech, and what is not, and I've been talking about this for how long in this channel, what is not inflationary to your society when you spend a ton of money on it? I'll give you a hint. It starts with a C and ends with an O. Crypto is not inflationary. It has no debt association to it. Okay? It cannot be overcapitalized. Think about this. If all those trillions of dollars get soaked up into crypto, into Bitcoin, into XRP, into XLM, does that mean eggs went up in price? No, doesn't. When it all goes into gold and the value of gold goes to $1 million an ounce, is that inflationary to you and I? No. I mean, unless you have to buy more gold, I mean, then that's not good, right? It's an avenue stream with no debt association. Nobody has to loan you money so that you could buy the crypto. Quite the opposite. You're going to make a lot of money from your crypto. Anyway, that's how we're going to end this show. That's another 20 minutes away. Where are we with this? What is the new treasury? What's the new treasury, Alan? How are they going to make this happen? Well, let's see. We want to put dollars all around the world. However, we want to retrieve those Eurodollars that are not really dollars, that are controlled by European nations that we don't really like the way they've controlled it. We don't like the way they've used it. We don't like what they spend it on. We don't like their unaccountability of it all. And we don't like the leech factor in which Europe has used America in that sense. Not talking about European people. I love European people, okay? Talking about their governments. I'm talking about their unelected people. They're not even elected officials. And I don't know what's going on in Europe. It's almost like the guy that wins the race doesn't get to win the presidency or something. It's really strange. It's like most of their people are appointed. It's weird. I don't understand the whole thing. Anyway, what is the new treasury, Alan? The new treasury is going to be multiples, but it's going to be U.S. based. Not a global, U.S. based. It's got to be spent here. It's got to be consumed here. It must be used here. Andrew Jackson did this. Everybody, the great presidents have all done this before. This is not a new model. It just takes an incredibly powerful government. Almost, and I know people get down on Trump for being this way, it almost takes a national dictator. It's almost what it takes. You have to just drop the last 100 years of the way things have been going, and you've got to stand the ground and say, what's best for the people? How do we stop the bleeding? How do we reverse this entire problem? That's how you do it. So what's going to happen is the U.S. Treasury is going to become its own stablecoin, if you will, right? But how do you add value to a U.S. stable or dollar compared to a euro, a yuan, or a Mexican peso? How do you make value out of a fiat currency? You select specific projects, and the ones I like to talk about are the top 10, the ISO coins, the coins that I love and all, we don't need to get into, naming them all, but the top 10 coins, top 20 coins, they're gonna associate those with the treasury bonds. There's going to be a little bit of Bitcoin. There's going to be a little bit of Ethereum, a little bit of XRP. And when you buy that, 10% of that coin, that project, that bond that you're buying, okay, when you go ahead and make a stable coin, JP Morgan coin, the RLUSD coin, what do? They force them to purchase something. What are they purchasing? They're buying US treasuries with that. What's going to be in the U.S. Treasury? Why does Tether? Why does USDC? Why do these people have to buy U.S. Treasury? Why would I do that? It's just more fiat. It's fiat out into the future, which is probably going to be worth less than it is today, Alan. Why are you making me do that, Scott? I don't want that product. You need to put something hard asset in there. Bingo. They're going to associate crypto to it. They're going to tag a certain percentage of it is going to be locked in on that block of trade that you bought $1 billion worth of US Treasury, and it came with whatever 10% XRP in coin form in that bond holding. And as that coin goes up, because the more treasury bonds they sell and the more treasuries use stable coins use treasuries, the more they're going to perpetuate each other. That's the same thing Michael Saylor's doing with Bitcoin. What's happening is that US Treasury is going to have to purchase more XRP. You're going to own the XRP. The XRP is going to go up in value because it's going to be becoming more and more scarce. They're going to need to pay a higher price for the XRP to put that into the US Treasury to sell. This is a ratchet effect. This is where we're going, because you finally have a finite amount of dollars value. Remember, at the beginning of the show, I told you I was going to use the term dollars loosely. What I'm talking about is a value association with a finite number is bringing credibility back to your treasury money. Boom. I was on Zach Rector's show 4 years ago, and I told everybody this day was coming. I saw it clearly 5 years ago. Stable coins would be the new bonds. That's one I got right. Well, it hasn't entirely happened that way yet. However, pretty much they just told with the Genius Bill that stable coins are basically, we gave them the blessing, and you can buy treasuries. What's the difference? I kind of got that one halfway right. I'm going to call it halfway right. I don't care to be right. What I care to do is see where the puck is going, see why we're going there, and how to prosper and how to help us understand what's coming. That's my treasuries. Why they're doing it, when they're doing it, and who they're doing it for is all to be played for. We don't know all that yet. Inflation is coming home because of that. It will be spent in America. That is absolutely true. But it doesn't have to have a negative inflationary connotation to it. The problem with the Weimar Republic and all the other ones that have had terrible inflation when all the money went rushing back into the system is because it all went right back into the citizens' hands. What you need to do is you need to get it into building things, creating things. Our infrastructure is Well, frankly, bridges and tunnels are falling down, and they're knocking dams down all the time, and all the rest of it. That is where you put the inflation into work, into jobs, into opportunity, into crypto, which is non-inflationary to the citizen on the street. You don't want to put inflation in homes. It's terrible for your economy. I know taxes love it. Taxes, when real estate goes up, the tax community, they love it. They love it. Why? They get more tax revenue. But the young couple who's just trying to make a living and trying to come out and raise a few kids, they can't afford a home. We've got to get inflation out of real estate. It's a perfect fit. Putting it into gold, putting it into crypto. That's where it's going. Okay. I want to talk now about the evolution of money. How is money evolving? What is money going to be going forward? Money is going to be hundreds of different things. Money is not just going to be U.S. treasuries. Money is not and I'm using money in a general sense, okay, in a very vague, open, broad term. Money is going to be whatever you deem it to be of value for one exchange of value to another exchange of value. Those are the beautiful uses of stable coins. It can be an ETF. It can be a whatever, NFT. It can be whatever you deem. Okay, I really like that guy's poster. It's an NFT and I want it. I'll take it. Well, what do you got? Well, I got this, staple crew stable coin. Well, that's kind of cool. I'll take a few of those. I'll do it. Let's trade. That's where the evolution of money is right now. What does that mean to mankind? That means prosperity globally. And the prosperity of people is going to become away from the control of the nation states who have controlled mankind, in particular through money. They've controlled us all through money. Just think of these poor countries, Zimbabwe. Just think about what's happened to those people because their government, a new leader comes in and he makes himself a billionaire out of the expense of his own people, creating more dollars, Zimbabwe notes, I don't know what they're called, sorry. And he's making more for himself. That's making the pizza larger. They all do it. There's no accountability. That's inflationary, big time, to where they have to wheel a wheelbarrow full of $1 million notes to try and buy bread. That's criminal. That's going away. We're going to have more avenues around the world and institutions using the equivalence of a U.S. Treasury, because remember, the value of the U.S. Treasury is going to go up because there's going to be value associated with it. Beyond just accountability, it's going to have tokens behind it that you can sit there and look at. Well, look at that. CoinGecko says that XRP is now $5. Look how many $5 I own, how many coins I own in my treasury note, in my treasury bond, through my stable coin. What is my Mr. Zimbabwe president putting behind his money? Zip, zero, nada. No value there. I'll get on my phone in Zimbabwe and I'll get those US Scott Bessent treasury notes, stable coins, because they hold their value because of accountability. This is stuff that you and I have figured all this stuff out. It's beyond me how people still can't understand this. It's just like, wow, okay, all right, well, let me go over it again. Let me explain it one more time real slow for you. The dollars that you have are worthless. Fiat, worthless. Fugazi. There's no value in them. You must put value behind something. It was valuable when it had gold backing it. But now when you're creating new ones, you have to put something in there. Well, tokens are perfect. They're perfect for this. They're way better than gold. That's this man's opinion. And if you like gold better, okay, good for you. That's great. This sound money is happening. It's taken a long time. It's taken this man's entire life to get here. The evolution of money is so vast and so broad that it's beyond even my imagination as to how far we can take this thing. But clunky gold is probably not going to work unless they could find a way to tokenize it with accountability to it. But stable coins are going to be insanely valuable going forward because every person everywhere in the world can buy them on their phone. Click, click, click. A robot can buy them. AI can buy them. We're all going to trade in these things. That tradability and that arbitrage in between the two is that liquidity that you provide, that ODL that XRP provides. That on-demand liquidity is nothing but value to the rest of the world for nothing, virtually pennies. And you're going to be compensated for that. This is where I'm going in this whole show. I talk about this a lot. The value of what you own cannot be constructed in your thought process by using the previous decade of your life experience. Don't do that to yourself. You can't picture what 6 months from now is going to bring you. You can't. You can't dream that well. I can't. I do a lot. I listen to a lot of MIT lectures, and I'm telling you where this whole thing is going. And I'm not sure they're even the best at it. But the way you're going to make money with these coins and these tokens is being created today. Those discrepancies in this market are your profitability. And in this man's opinion, there's one coin that's better at it than anybody else in the banking system. And this is something that Winklevoss twins just figured out. Gemini figured that out. How long have they been talking? I think, personally, this is what this man thinks. They waited for that court case to close. Completely done. Okay, done. That's when Winklevoss and Gemini busted out the news. This is bigger. This is bigger, guys, than you can wrap your head around. I don't care what the other YouTube channels are telling you. They don't get it. A lot of them don't get it. They still think in yesterday's equivalents of what dollar go up. Oh, wow, red market, sky's falling, it's crashing, we're going to zero. Please, you've never, ever had an opportunity like this in your whole generations of lives. Your grandparents never had this opportunity. Money is evolving. And there's great channels, and they talk about money in every way known to man, and they talk about accountability, and they all use mathematical metrics, which are in the old dinosaur last year equivalency. Gone, done, not relevant, no longer accountable. They're changed. I just went over this entire 50 minutes of the accountability of what you considered money to be has been erased. Gone. Are you going to wake up tomorrow and money's different? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the concept and the vision for it has been known about for years now. Like I told you 2 years ago, there was a in my video this morning, a big time banker friend of mine who ran into an oil guy goes into this thing and he's like, what are all you bankers doing at this crypto show? Please. I'll tell you what they're doing there. They're deciding where the ball's bouncing next. And they're trying to catch up. And you know what? You're way out ahead of them. You're way out ahead of these guys. And I really don't care what your brother-in-law at the barbecue says about who you are, who I am, or wow, you listen to that Alan guy, he thinks he's got everything figured out where the money's going. Well, I'll tell you what, I was talking about this same stuff in 2016. Virtually the same concepts. Conceptually, I saw where the ball was going. I got lucky. We got lucky. And then I had some clown tell me the other day, Alan, well, XRP, what do you know about you? Wow, what an idiot. You're an XRP. I said, have you looked how much it's gone up in the last, 9 months? 6 times your money? I'm an idiot? Really? I don't even care if your coin's gone up 10 times in the last 6 months. You don't call somebody who's 6x their money an idiot. What's the matter with you people? Well, you didn't know it was going to go. Yeah, actually, I've been begging. 4 years ago, I started begging people. It's down. We're in a red market. It's a bear market. We're at the bottom. Please, DCA. I've been talking about DCA for 4 years. And now I get phone calls from people who are on the other side of the phone crying because they never thought they'd see $3. They never thought they'd see $3.50. And it changed their entire lives. It's unbelievable. I wish you could hear these phone calls. We're there, guys. We're there. This monetary system is a house of cards, and it needs some structure. And there's great people out there. And I know Becky's talking about Tom Longo. Tom Longo's a brilliant guy. I don't think he has even a clue what's coming with money. I don't think he does. I don't think he truly understands what's about to happen. I don't think he really understands crypto. In fact, I know it. I don't hear him talk about crypto enough. The times I have heard him talk about it, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, dude, how do you not know where it's going? You know, he's kind of a gold guy. I'm not throwing. I'd love to interview Tom. The only problem with interviewing Tom is he does all the talking. So, you know, which I don't mind, but, you know, I kind of like that, actually. Give me the night off. It's important that you listen to people who have been there and have done it. People like Tom. Okay. They understand. They see the big picture. And the big picture's happening now. I'm sometimes so lost at return on capital. It's really hard for me to explain and express to people how important these coins are going to be for your future. We talk in evaluations of previous generations of what they considered collateral. No, we're not doing that anymore. Okay, real estate collateral is falling down the list. It's falling down the list of importance, and it's dropping like a rock because people are bailing out of it and they're putting it into other assets. There's my lovely wife.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
We have Elizabeth in the house. It's falling like a rock, and the biggest reason why that is because people are over leveraged in it, and its valuations are not the future. It's going to cost them money. There's no overhead in crypto. None. These evaluations are going to blow people's minds, and there's nowhere they can go. They can't stay in real estate. Do you understand that? Even Grant Cardone's figuring this out. Mr. Real Estate of the planet, right? Or one of them. Even he's figuring this out. He's like, oh, well, wait a minute. If I just buy Bitcoin and I associate the Bitcoin, one Bitcoin for every unit that I have, and that Bitcoin stays with the unit, and Bitcoin goes up 50% annually. Oh my God. He's wrapping his head around crypto. It's happening right now. If you're my age and you're 65 and you have 3 rental properties, do you really want to hear about, a broken toilet or wall or window, or you got to repaint it, or the carpet, or like, is that really what you want to do with your retirement days? And it's not returning you 50% annually? Not to mention what you're going to earn with AMMs. These automated money maker market makers are producing today returns of 2% and 3% monthly. How are you going to do that with real estate? You can't. I'm sorry, you can't do it. And not only can you, and that's the tip of the iceberg. Those are minuscule returns as to some of the other things that are coming, particularly with AI and trading bots and the rest of it. And you're just not going to be able to, compete if you have hard brick mortar assets. That era is gone by. And thank God we're going to get back to, why do you own a home? Well, because I don't like standing in the rain all night. It's going to be for shelter. It's not going to be for investment purposes. It's killed the affordability to all young generations. This inflation has gone into real estate because real estate's looked upon as a place in which to make money. That means it has to inflate annually for them to make more and more and more money. That's not what shelter should be doing for mankind. When we get past that, we're going to really thrive. There's no better place for inflation than crypto. It's absolutely the best place. Okay? It just is. And I know you've all heard me say that before. I'm already past an hour. I've got a ton of things to get done. I've really got to get rolling, guys. It's been a pleasure. There's a couple things I didn't finish up with here, but I think we're going to be on the road tomorrow, and you guys have all heard me talk about it earlier. And thanks, guys. Thanks for hitting the like button. Thank you, Becky, and thanks for everybody being in the chat. And I know I sprang it on you guys. It's a night early, and I know it conflicted with a Dip a Toe show. I didn't even think about it when I decided to make that change last night. I know they had a great show, and I'm pretty sure you guys will watch both. So I appreciate you all. We're going to be on the road tomorrow. We'll tell you where we're going to be as much as we can. I'm going to try and do a couple little short videos, maybe at least 2 or 3 a week, and just kind of let you know where we're going to be and what we're doing. I can't do a whole lot of meetups because we're really in the puppy delivery business. So we really got to get to the place of where the puppy belongs, and then to the next and next and next. We might be able to do a little bit more of a meetup type thing on the way back. I doubt it, but we are going to try and let you know where we're going to be the next day as much as humanly possible. What else do you have for us, Elizabeth?
3 puppies
3 puppies.
still available. They're still available. If they're not taken by somebody on the road, they're going to be going to a trainer and they will become service dogs. But so there's no, everybody's going to have a good home. They're just going to have a different kind of home if they don't go to someone's farm or land or happy family. And then, we're going to try and vlog the journey.
Yes, as much as possible. I just want to say thank you to quite a few of you here tonight because I don't do that enough. Crawfish, I love you, brother. You're in here all the time. Frankie, I see you. What do we got? Goshen Crypto. John Foster's always in here. Of course, lovely Becky. Blue Bus Driver. I love it. Is that a Blue Bus Driver? Is that a Dead reference or is that a... Eric Clapton had a Blue Bus album, didn't he? Anyway, Christopher Clark, love you. Daryl, Robert Driscoll, John Foster again. Smee. Who is that? Eminal? Sorry. I'm terrible at this. Love you guys. Thank you all, Craig Smith. And Joel, I see you, Bobby G, and Connie, Daryl, John, Becky again, John Clark. I don't do this enough, but I really do appreciate all of you. And Professor was in the house early. Carrie's in the house, Johnny G. Thank you guys all so much. And I know that your time is precious and you spend it with me and it's magical. I love it. I've got to run. And I am out. Thank you all for coming tonight.